Welcome to the Wise Take DFS podcast. I am your host, Patio Joe. You could find me on Twitter at Patio Joe Ref. And I'm joined here today by my three Wise Take NFL aficionados. I got Paulie D. You can follow him at Twitter at Paulie with the 8 Ds. And then I got my man, the young Padawan Jedi, the young Padawan Jedi learner, Cam, and you follow him at KamG DFS. And then, of course, my Midwest homie down in the Midwest. What are you, Kansas, Kentucky. Right? Kentucky, Kansas. It's Kansas, right? It's Kansas.
Yeah, it's Hutchinson, Kansas.
Or it's Kansas.
I knew the place he gets all his bitches.
Yes.
Right? So,
Real Slim Gaede. Yes. I am. You can follow him at Real Slim Gaede. Slim Gaede. Jason Gaede. Say what's up, guys. It's good to have you back for week 10.
What's up? What's going on?
What's up, Cam? Are you still with us, or are you just smiling? Are you just so happy to be here and everything's just great, or what's going on, bud? Cam, are you with us?
Oh, sorry, I just glitched out real bad.
All right, it's okay, bro. It's okay.
You guys sounded like robots and shit. So.
Oh, okay. Oh, there you go. So you switch. Okay, there you go. You're coming back. Alrighty, guys. So, how did Paulie? How's your week 9 go?
Week 9, not good at all. On FanDuel, I had a lot of like the Chiefs Dallas game. I had Hunt. I had all Hunt. He didn't do too much for me. Even like the Tyreek Hill touchdown before the half didn't help. Dez didn't do much. And then I had like Carr with the receivers on the Raiders in the late night game. That didn't do very well for me. Not a good week at all. Looking to rebound this week.
Cam, how'd you do?
All right. I had like average wide receivers, and then Gurley and Goff did well, but I didn't pair him with Robert Woods, so that kind of sucked. But it was all right.
Jay?
Yeah, man. Week 9 is the same as week 8, just crushing it. So
nice.
I was one of those guys on FanDuel with TY at like 46% in cash. So I mean, TY, Gurley, had Alex Smith, did all right. So yeah, it was pretty easy. If you had TY, it didn't matter who else you had. So I did pretty well. I had one big tournament that I messed up on, and I tried to get cute because I heard some people talking about Deshaun Jackson. So I played him over. I was going to play Marvin Jones. It was Thursday, Monday, and I played D-Jax over him. It was like a 2,300 something like that tournament, and I would have got third if I had Marvin Jones in there. But it's all right. Still won a little bit of money. It's all good.
Yeah. For me, I actually had a decent week with cash games. It cashed again. I felt like, at least for me, my cash game hit, which was good. The tournaments, I had one that cashed, and I felt like with all the other ones, I had the right players. I just didn't have them on the right teams. So I was on the right guys, and just not the right teams. Now, something that I've been coming to realization with, and something I want to hit home a little more with everybody out there, is the importance of, I think at least on FanDuel, that I have found this year amongst all other years, is it seems to me like, aside from, maybe Antonio Brown, like the top receivers just aren't hitting as much as they used to. So you got to go to the mid tier, and you have like the top, like running backs are hitting most of the time, and you can get a quarterback. But the most important I've found this year has been defense and kicker. And do not like dismiss them and just fill them in at the end and whatever you can fit in. I think that we need to spend a little bit more time on defense at least. And, you lock in the best defense, you lock in the best kicker, and you have a leg up. And I know this. In all of my best weeks this year, I have nailed kicker and defense on FanDuel. What do you guys think about that? Jason, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I'm totally with you. Like, I'm not all that concerned about kickers sometimes because I need, a couple hundred here and there. I still want to go for guys that are kicking in the highest scoring games if I can, but you don't have to spend $5K on a kicker. Defense is big. You can't miss on the defense, but the biggest thing for me, man, is just lock in the two best running backs and stop paying up at receiver. Like you said, it's not worth it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you got guys in the 6K range every week that are going off. So get your running backs right. Get the defense right, and you can find plenty of receivers because they're all similarly priced.
Yeah, I'm down with that, and I also think that the pricing being a little bit more tight on DraftKings, everybody seems to be flocking towards certain players, and that's where that they're going to go. On FanDuel, there's a group of them. Like last week, in between like 5,900 and 6,200, there was like 3 or 4 receiver options that you could go to, that you could pick, that were all viable. You had Watkins, you had Cooper Kupp, you had Sterling Shepard, and then there was like one other guy that was viable. So my point is that I don't know if necessarily, at least in cash, and maybe it's time to lock in the defense, lock in a good kicker, and then go with good running backs and then fill in other place. Paulie, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I said on the last show, start there. Put your best defense and kicker in your lineup and then build the rest. Like a lot of people sacrifice those spots, like punt them and just get something cheap so that they can fit in one extra stud. And when you get 40 to 50 points from a defense kicker combination, you're in such a better spot in tournaments than the rest of the field. So, when you do your research, pick out the ones that you like the best. Don't even think about their prices and play those guys and then build the rest of your lineups. It's especially on FanDuel with the kicker. It's just so important. And I couldn't agree with you more.
Yeah, I it seems to be like just the way to go these days. That being said, let's get right into this, and let's start off with quarterbacks this week. We're going to go position by position. We're just basically going to go through some brief plays that we like, and not each tier. Just pick out maybe 2-3 plays that you like. Talk about them. Cam, 1 or 2 minutes per player. Cam, and so we can move on, and obviously we can move on. So, but the way we're going to do it is I'm going to go a little bit. We're not going to always just go with Paulie going first, and then we're going in the order. We're going to mix it up a little bit. But let's start off. Cam, I'm going to start off with you this week. Talk to me about some quarterbacks that you like, just 1 or 2 that you like, and then we'll move on to Jason. I'll go, and then we'll finish up with Paulie.
All right, quarterbacks.
Yeah, quarterbacks.
All right. I like Matthew Stafford this week. Just kind of first look. He's going against the Browns. They're coming off a bye though, which is a little concerning. But Detroit at home is always a better team. Stafford's better at home. He's thrown for like 350 and like 4 something. The last 2 weeks, he's got the weapons. This has just been a defense that you can pick apart through the air. I think Jason McCourty might be back, so that might be a little concerning, but I still think he's in a good spot. Big Ben at Indianapolis. I know he hasn't done well this year, but I think he's just in a really good spot. Vontae Davis is going to be out for the rest of the year, who's their best cornerback. And he too has the weapons in AD. Juju emerged last week, so I like him as well. And then Josh McCown is interesting against Tampa Bay. I know Gaede wrote about him in his article, and I think he's in a really good spot. Tampa Bay is like 31st DVOA versus the pass, and McCown's actually been pretty good this year. So he's been thrown for touchdowns. He has a decently solid receiving core. Robbie Anderson and Curse over there are solid weapons that you can use, and they're cheap on FanDuel as well, so you can pair them up. So I like those 3 guys.
Mm-hmm. All right, that's good. I like that. Jay, what do you like?
Yeah, I don't have a whole lot different, honestly. I got Stafford as my number one cash game play. They're a heavy favorite at home, but we know that they can't run the ball at all. I mean, I don't know what they're ranked, but if you watch them play, they can't run the ball at all to save their lives. So for them to actually get this blowout, he's going to have to throw 3 touchdowns probably. Last 3 games, he's thrown for 361, 423, and 312. Cam's right about McCourty. I believe he's going to be back. We'll see who he's going to be on. But I'm not real worried about that. I think that's the spot for the cash games. I also like McCown, the revenge narrative. I think the Jets are just going to go in there and blow Tampa up. So I do like them a lot, more for a GPP play. I also do think that Goff is interesting. The problem is that he's the same price as Stafford, and I don't know if I can trust him for cash games, but he's in a really good spot at home against Houston. McVay's not scared to just let Goff throw the ball all over the field. The problem is they should probably win this game easily, so I could see it being more of a Gurley game also. But I do like Goff.
We live in a world where Jared Goff is the same price as Tom Brady DraftKings.
Yeah. It's crazy.
It's insane.
But Goff is like the perfect pivot in the GPP that you can almost do the same lineup build with Stafford, insert Goff. He has more upside, I think, just because I don't know. I just think that it just seems like they're going to pass more just because they just might. I don't know why.
They just like to.
But it just seems to me like also this Detroit offense has been stalling a lot. I mean, Matt Prater is probably the best kicker to have on the week too.
Yes.
So my thing is for quarterbacks this week, other guy that we haven't talked about that I'm going to talk about a little bit. I like what you said about with Stafford and Goff and Roethlisberger. McCam, I like Roethlisberger, McCown. The guy I'm going to go on the other side of that game. And I've been hearing some people talk about it. He's 6,100 on FanDuel. I don't know what his price is on DraftKings. I'm calling up right now, but it's Ryan Fitzpatrick. He's going to get the start. He's on the other side of that game. He's the perfect guy to start a game and fill in and do good. I mean, what's his price on DK? 4,900?
Yep.
You're telling me he can't get 15 points?
He can. I mean,
that is a very, very easy. He is, and I've seen a lot of optimizers. He's grading out very well for the optimizers. And I think that he can get 15 to 20 points in this week in a game where, one, Doug, we said it earlier, how the Lions don't have a running game. Right now, neither do the Bucs. The Bucs can't run the ball for shit. Okay? Doug Martin was terrible last week. So they're going to have to pass a lot. There's no Mike Evans, which I understand, but that doesn't mean they're not going to hit Djax and then Humphreys, which is like one of the best value plays this week. And like Fitzpatrick is like the perfect guy to come in and throw 2 touchdowns, 250, and they win 20 to 17 or whatever, something like that. It's a definite. I think it's a play where you could fit in a lot of those top running backs and a top receiver if you do that. Paulie, comment on that, and then some quarterbacks that you like.
So I'm actually going to that game in Tampa, the Jets-Tampa Bay game. So I will have a little bit of it just in some game stacks because I'm going. But Ryan Fitzpatrick is a veteran. He's performed well for most of his career. He's a Harvard graduate. He's been on that team long enough now where I'm sure he knows the offense. And, I believe he'll do fine. I think it's like 2 pretty bad teams playing against each other. Like you said, I don't see Tampa running very well against the Jets. And, I think they're going to be forced to go to the air. And, I don't really care that Mike Evans is out, although that would be better. But I think he's got plenty of other options and weapons and, could possibly be playing from behind, which would make it even better at that price. In cash games, I think that's like a lock. And in tournaments, if you really want to pay up for the running backs, then he's a good option as well. But I like some other quarterbacks for tournaments.
Like who?
Matt Ryan. I really like Matt Ryan this week. It's the highest over-under on the slate. we actually saw them start to throw the ball more last week. I saw some pretty decent analysis from that guy Sharp. That's like on Roto Grinders, but he's more of like a Vegas gambling guy, and he has Atlanta based on strength of schedule and like what they've done so far as like the number one explosive pass offense the rest of the season. I really like the way that they were trying to involve Julio Jones, and I think he's fine. I think he's going to play, but Freeman was a little nicked up. So, maybe they lean a little more towards the pass game. Dallas could very easily be leading, forcing them to pass. It's on turf. It's a good spot for Julio. I really, really like Matt Ryan this week. And my next guy, I can't stand. I very rarely play, but I think Cam Newton's in a really good spot. I know a couple of guys mentioned that. You can also pinpoint where the usage is going to go. So for tournaments, it's really easy to do a triple stack with Cam and the two, the running back and the receiver. So I really like Cam as well, based on his price on DraftKings. A little high on FanDuel, but on DraftKings, you could definitely make it work. But I love Matt Ryan at $7,000 to $1,000 cheaper than most of the big quarterbacks. And then Marcus Mariota is a guy I'm thinking about in deep field tournaments. We haven't heard much from him. I could see Cincinnati shutting down the run and forcing them to pass some more. And Marcus Mariota might have to use his legs a little bit in this game. And I just think he'll be a super low-owned guy that I'm going to use in some bigger tournaments. And then lastly, I like Kirk Cousins. People seem to think Minnesota has a good defense, but in terms of the pass game, they really only have one good corner, and the other two are horrendous, and they've been passed all over this year. I can see Minnesota shutting down Washington's run game. The spread is very small. It's 1. So I could see Cousins throwing a ton of passes this week and, going for 303 against this terrible secondary.
Yeah, I like what you said there about Matt Ryan. I think that last week, we'll probably bring up Julio a little more, but last week I think you saw maybe the start of that offense picking it up, and they're facing. I just have this feeling, it's like the 4:30 game. Everybody, there's going to be Joe Buck is going to be on there with Troy Aikman, of course, doing another Dallas game. I'm sure Joe Buck, he's been dying to do a Dallas game. It's been 6 weeks since he's done a Dallas game. So he must be bouncing into walls right now, just not knowing what to do. Oh my God, I can't do a Dallas game. Oh my God, where's Troy? I need to suck his dick. Oh my God. Seriously, Joe Buck, he just annoyed me so much for the past month. I was more happy the World Series over because I didn't have to hear Joe Buck. Okay. Now we have to hear him again, but I just think that the narrative of just the way that Dallas comes in and just the way that the game is, it might be a shootout, and I just think it's going to be a big game, and I'm with it with the Matt Ryan call. As for, we have a question here by one of Wise Take's very own Terry Collins, TC. Thank you, TC, and he asked, and I'm gonna throw this one over to you, young Padawan. Maybe you can answer this. What are the difference from cash builds to GPP builds? What value are we looking for in both? The NBA shows 5x is the lowest value we are okay with. What is it for football, Cam?
That's a really long question, but
I know. Why did I ask the guy? Make it a short answer, though. Okay.
What was the difference between cash and GPPs?
How much
value you need?
2x,
2x for cash and 3x for GPPs, I think.
I'll tell you what. This year on FanDuel, if you would have had 180, you would be rich man this year. If you had 180 almost every week, what do you think, guys? Yeah.
Yeah.
I think 2x for cash and 2.5x. GPPs this year, and I think you'd be okay on most weeks. Let's move on to running backs, and this one's going to start off with my man Gaede.
Yeah, so I think Le'Veon Bell's the obvious play here. I don't think anybody can I don't think you can fade him, especially in cash games. I mean, Indy's bad against the run. They're even worse, giving up passing yards to the running backs. This plays out pretty well. We expect Pittsburgh to get the lead. Then they're just going to keep feeding them. Ben sucks on the road, so they should start feeding him from the beginning of the game. You're thinking 30 touches there. Plus, Indy's best defensive tackle, their best run stopper, is out now. So just got that news today. I can't even remember the guy's name, but apparently that's a big deal. So he's even a better play. I mean, if Zeke's going to play, I think we find that out tomorrow. His court case tomorrow. I mean, if Zeke plays, he's kind of just an auto play for me anymore in just about every matchup because of the way Dallas is just going to feed him the ball. So we'll find out, I believe, tomorrow afternoon if he's going to play. I like Gurley as well. I don't know if I want to pay for him in cash. Houston actually ranks pretty well against running backs, but I mean, we know the Rams are going to blow them out. Houston defense just keeps losing guys, so Gurley should get a bunch of touches there. And I don't want to overlook Fournette, assuming he doesn't get in trouble this week and he can actually get on the field. I mean, he still has scored a touchdown in every game that he's played. And the Chargers have a good secondary, and they do not do well against the run. So it matches up really well. And Jacksonville's coaching staff, I keep saying it, is the smartest in the league at doing what they need to do to win football games, which is give the ball to Fournette and play defense. So I like all four of those guys, and they're probably the top four guys. They're going to cost you money, but it's pretty simple. You play those guys, and you're probably going to win a lot of money. It's really not that difficult, especially on FanDuel. Pick two of the four, and you're probably going to win. It works out pretty well.
Yeah, very easy. Yeah, in my mind, I think my top two running backs of those four are Lev Bell and Fournette. I just think I've watched my team all year. You can run on the Chargers. You can run on the Chargers. You can run on the Chargers. The one caveat I will say, they did get middle linebacker Denzel Perryman off of injured reserve designated to return. So I don't know how much that's going to help, but I still think at home, coming off of now, he's had 3 weeks off. Because he missed the game before, and then he had to bye, and then he missed the team photo. So that's 3 weeks off. So it's almost, so he's ready to roll. He's a rookie. I like Fournette. I like Zeke. I think that, in my head, I think he's going. This is where Brady lost, was in the Second Circuit Court. So I think this is where he's going to lose too. Yeah. So, and they say it's a long shot, but I don't know. I'm planning on him not being out. The guy,
Wait. Run that back. You think Zeke's not going to be eligible for this game?
No, I think he's going to be.
Yeah, I agree with you.
He's going to be suspended. I think he loses tomorrow. That's just my opinion. I'm not saying.
I agree.
But if he isn't, then I'm still. If he isn't, I still want to play him. But I actually want to think about. I want to look at the other side of that game with Freeman or Coleman, especially if Freeman is out. I think Tevin Coleman makes a great play. Oh, yeah. Dallas did a good job last week on Kareem Hunt. Well, they only gave him 9 touches, so who knows how they would have done it. They would have given him the ball more. But I like that run game against Dallas. I also like Alvin Kamara again. Buffalo is giving up 8 catches to the running back averages on the year. So Kamara is going to be dialing that up again. I think we're slowly starting to see it really getting to a 50-50 timeshare with Kamara and Ingram. You see how much they like Kamara. And then the other guy in the mid-tier right around there that's good in cash is Jordan Howard. Strictly on a volume base alone, I think they're going to be up. I think they're going to be in control, and they're going to definitely need him to win the game. So, Paulie, talk to me about some other running back plays, or the ones that I brought up too.
Yeah, I definitely agree with Fournette. Having the 3 weeks off, taking on the Chargers. Perriman coming back If it was a few more weeks later, I might come off that. But this is going to be his first game. I expect him to be rusty. And, I don't think Jacksonville is going to want to test that San Diego secondary. So I could see him getting a ton of usage. And I don't know if he's going to be that popular. I expect Bell to be crazy popular on this slate. So I don't. And if Zeke gets suspended, then maybe some of that would flow to Fournette. But I think Bell's going to be the highest on running back by far. My top two guys up high are McCoy and Gordon. LaShawn McCoy against the Saints. They're like the 29th ranked run defense. Bills don't have too much pass game, although they did add Kelvin Benjamin. Their strength is still going to be running the ball. They're at home. I expect them to give a healthy dosage of carries and passes to LaShawn McCoy. And then Melvin Gordon, he's so involved in that offense. It's going to be hard for them to pass to the wideout, so I think Gordon's going to get heavy usage. You want to attack the Jaguars on the ground. We've seen a handful of good running backs have big games against the Jaguars. I don't think anybody's going to be on him either, so for tournaments, I really like it. You could see a game where he gets one on the ground with 70 to 80 yards rushing and another one through the air with another 5 to 6 catches. And we've seen this guy has a home run hitting capability. He took that 90-yard run against the Patriots. And I've really been impressed with him this year just in, passing the eye test. So I like those two up top. If Freeman gets ruled out, Coleman will be a lock. He'll be in every one of my lineups. And then Carlos Hyde, I'm really interested against the Giants. We saw what the Rams did last week to the Giants. San Francisco, I don't think has as good a passing attack. So I think it's gonna trickle down to more Hyde. I think the Giants have sent it in. Rumor is that their coach is going to get fired at the end of this weekend, and I think the team's going to give up on him. I actually think San Francisco is going to beat the Giants pretty handily, and Carlos Hyde's going to get a ton of usage here. And if they're in the lead, he'll get that run the clock out time and maybe pour on another long run touchdown. But I really like him for the price also.
That's good. Yeah, and I think I liked your calls on McCoy and Gordon strictly on a fact of ownership alone. That like when it comes to lineup build, like you're going to be like, well, if I'm going McCoy, I'm either going to go to Fournette, Zeke, or Bell or Gurley, or you know what I mean. Or if I'm going to go Gordon, well then maybe I'm just going to go a little bit further down and I'll just get Howard or Kamara because they're just as reliable as at least Howard is. So, yeah, I like those two plays, and Gordon does grade out well on the optimizer. Cam, finish this up with running backs. Who do you like?
Yeah, I like Love Bell. Like Gaede said, he's in a smash spot. I don't really need to elaborate more on that. He kind of covered everything that I think needs to be covered, and then I think Fournette's in a great spot, like you said. He hasn't played in like 3 weeks pretty much. October 15th was his last game. Mm-hmm. So that's almost a month coming up here. Like, we know what they want to do. They want to run the ball and play defense. So he's going to get his touches in like a really good matchup versus the Chargers. So I'm in like love with that matchup right now. And then I think Paulie's pivot, McCoy, I think that's a good pivot. He's in a pretty good spot. We touched on it last week that New Orleans is really bad against the run. It just game script last week didn't favor that at all. Jordan Howard, volume purposes, even if the Packers get up somehow with Brent Hundley, like they're still gonna want to run the ball, and the Packers defense isn't good at all. So he's definitely always in play. And then some guys in like the mid tier. I have interest in Hyde again. He's been getting a ton of targets from Beathard. And then McKinnon is 6.6K against Washington. He's just been a monster since he's actually like got a role on the offense. Scored like 22, 23 FanDuel points 3 out of the last 4 weeks when he actually started playing. So I think he's in a all right matchup against Washington. But for the price, I think he's in a really good spot. And also Coleman against Dallas, I like. They They give up a ton to pass-catching running backs, and if Freeman's out this week especially, like, you're going to have to take a long, hard look at him, and it's going to be hard not to play him. And then lastly,
you 100% lock in Coleman, no question about it.
Yeah.
Like, he's the better running back anyway.
Right.
And he gets the pass game. But, if it's just the problem of that timeshare. But it actually feels like Coleman has been kind of like slowly taking the lead back role. That just, they're not, like, in terms of usage, like, still Freeman's the starter. He gets the first drive. But what I've seen is that Coleman's been getting more involved in the offense. So if he's out at that price, it's almost like a must play in that highest over under game of the week at a discount. You like in DFS, that's like cheat code. You have to have that.
Like when Coleman gets hot too, they just keep him in and like ride the hot hand too. So I mean, he's still in play even if Freeman doesn't. But like if he's not, yeah, for sure. And then Darkwa against the 49ers is a little cheap running back if you have to go there. 49ers are just really bad against the run. And I think ultimately if the Giants had their way, they'd try and even out their attack a little more, spread it out. Don't want Eli to be throwing 1,000 times with that offensive line. And I could see him getting 15 to 20-ish carries in this game if they can keep it close. And the 49ers are not good against the run. We've seen that all year. So I like him for a cheap running back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. I like that call, Dark.
Real quick on the running backs, like my takes are all tournament based. In cash, I'm totally fine with Le'Veon Bell, but in tournaments, I won't have any. I like what Cam said about Jordan Howard. I hadn't really thought about him, but that makes a ton of sense. He's had a ton of market share in that offense. I forget the guy's name, but the backup running back, Cohen, yeah. Like, he was like a spark plug early in the year, but he's really faded away. Cunningham's been more involved in, like, passing downs, and, it's really been all Jordan Howard, and Green Bay has not looked very good. I don't expect them to get a lead where Chicago would be forced to pass, and Chicago has shown that they're not going to let Trubisky air it out at all. So, yeah, you could see Howard get 30 carries against a poor defense. I like that one down here as well. Like, I like the mid-tier for running backs. It was interesting when you started the show about not paying up for receivers. Like, I think this is the week to do that, to pay up for the receivers and go to the mid-tier in tournaments, because everyone's going to be paying up and looking for the cheap quarterback and the cheap receiver. So I think in tournaments, I like the idea of like paying a little bit higher for quarterback and then mid-tiering their running backs and getting better receivers.
Well, you're right. There is some really good value, I think, this week at running back. Like last week, I felt like there was just a few. This week, there's running back is loaded. You can go so many places.
Yeah.
But you said you wanted to pay up at receivers. Let's move on to receivers. That being said, AB, you can always play him. In my mind, I'll never say never not to play Antonio Brown. The guy I want this week in my tournaments is Julio Jones.
Me too.
I want him. Last week, literally, he he dropped a touchdown in the end zone, and then there was another one where he got missed. and he would have had two. Would have had 250 yards. So, football evens out, and there's such thing as touchdown regression in the positive way, positive regression.
Yes.
And I just think in the second half of the season, things are going to even out, and Julio is going to blow up. I don't know. He might not have the days where he had, 300 yards, but he still has matchups against Carolina. Again, he's got to play the Saints twice. They had their first division game last week, the Falcons. So they have all these, good matchups coming up. We'll see how Julio Jones does against Marshawn Lattimore. But I know this week, I feel it. I think this might be the blow up week. You got to have some of it. I also think right below him, I think AJ Green might have a huge day because of what happened last week. People are calling him a dirty player and they don't want anything to do with him, this and that. And this is just the time to where they both come up. I mean, I might have a lineup where you put Jones and Green in it and see what happens. And you could maybe put all three of them in this week and see that's a total contrarian lineup with two other running backs. That's all I'll really say about receivers. I think there's a lot of high ends and there's a couple in the mid range that we'll talk about more on Saturday, on the live stream. And that gives us a great time. Before I flip it over to Paulie, that gives us a great time. Remember, guys, head on over to ystake.com right now and join up. Sign up for the monthly package. You get 7 days free. If you don't like it, you cancel it anytime during that 7 days. If you don't like what we got, we have Paulie D, we got myself, we got Cam doing the football stuff, Gaede writing articles doing football stuff, and then on the basketball stuff, we got so much basketball knowledge. Like I can't even believe that there's even that much to even talk about when it comes to basketball. I'm like shocked. Like everybody talking about basketball, teabagging somebody else because Luke Babbitt is going to play. Like who the is Luke Babbitt? Like literally, I think Luke Babbitt. I think of bobbing for apples. That's what I think of Luke Babbitt bobbing for apples. I don't know why, but that's what I think. So. Like TC is trying to teabag Josh because Luke Babbitt is going to go 5X or something. Like literally, we have so much fun. You guys, baseball, we had a lot of fun, but honestly, basketball, there's so much knowledge. You got Paulie D with the cheat sheets. You got TC with the cash games. You got Josh with his GBPs articles that comes out, and then obviously we got our main man on the crossroads, CK, writing stuff, doing stuff every day. So guys, come on over. Oh, and don't forget MMA. We got my man Wig Splitter like just locking it down. I heard he just crushed this weekend on the big card, and he did well. So guys, come on over to Wise Take. 7 days free trial. Get the monthly package. You're gonna love it. And anyways, Paulie.
Hold up. In NBA, the last 2 days, we had a guy win a late night GPP. He tied with a bunch of people, but he still took first.
There you go.
Turned $4 into like $400. And then a couple days ago, we had another member win $1,500 on $4 in an NBA GPP.
That's right.
We've been on fire this year. It's definitely worth your time if you're investing any kind of money into NBA DFS.
Yeah, and then you guys can hang out in the chat room too, because I know a lot of times before lock, at least in football, we're in there, and especially in basketball, I'm sure you guys are in there too. I know baseball we were too, and it's week 10 already for football. We only got 8 more weeks, and then it's going to be the long winter is coming, as I say, winter is coming, and then it's just basketball.
Yep.
Anyways, Paulie. Talk to me about some receivers this week that you like besides what we talked about in the top end.
I mean, I don't really have much else to say. Like, that's it. That's why I want to pay up. Julio Jones going to be in every one of my lineups. I watched that whole game last week. I loved what I saw out of him. I think he's got some making up to do with that touchdown that he dropped that could have brought them back in. Love AJ Green's spot against Tennessee. They're like, a tough team against the run, like top 10. Bottom 15 against the pass. They don't have many options on this team. A.J. Green is in a great spot here in a game Cincinnati needs to win. So those two guys I love. Antonio Brown is fine, but I think he's way too expensive as compared to those other two guys in a game where Pittsburgh should win easily and spread the ball around. Like, I want Antonio Brown in games where either Pittsburgh's at home and it's going to be close or Pittsburgh's going to be losing. So, he'll do fine. He's perfect for cash, but not in tournaments. I don't think he has the upside. I could see, him getting one, Juju getting one, Martavis Bryant getting one, and Lev Bell getting one this week. Martavis Bryant's back on the team, practicing with the first string, so I think they're going to try and get him back into good graces for this playoff push. There's just a lot of mouths to feed on that offense, so I'm not going to have any Antonio Brown. Sterling Shepard of the Giants is still a great play. He's the only receiver they got. He's cheap. San Francisco's defense is not good, but it is not as bad as the Giants right now, so I think the Giants will be playing from behind. So I really like that spot. Dougie Baldwin against Arizona. I do not expect Patrick Peterson to follow him into the slot, so Doug Baldwin should be the main target.
Let me cut you off here real quick, Paulie. Now, you're saying if you're playing the Thursday slate, are you playing him tomorrow then? Because that's tomorrow's game. I just want to let you know.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
I was about to say, I usually don't play anybody on Thursdays and just buy in, but I'm actually going to have Doug Baldwin. I don't think he'll be highly owned, and I could see him popping off here. Arizona's got a similar situation in Minnesota where they have one lockdown corner, but the rest of their secondary is not very good, and they're good against the run. So I think this is going to be a good Doug Baldwin's spot. And then, after that, there's tons of value. Sorry, Gaede, that I put you on Deshaun Jackson. When Mike Evans got thrown out of that game, I thought we were in a much better spot. Yeah. But Jameis Winston fell apart. I think Fitzpatrick is gonna lean on him, and I don't see how he doesn't get 10 targets this week. I'm blown away by the Rams spread this week. I cannot believe that the Texans are 12-point underdogs. But that being said, I think DeAndre Hopkins at 7,600 should still get his 10 targets. And, he's a touchdown waiting to happen on any play. So I like that. Josh Doxson has won the number 1 spot on the Redskins. So I probably would not go there, thinking that that corner from Minnesota, I can't think of his name right now.
Rhodes.
Yeah, Rhodes Warriors. So I don't know where I was going with that. I don't know. So sorry about that. But there's definitely some good value guys down here. Devin Funchess, the only guy on Carolina really right now. If Miami's got a good run defense, so Carolina should be forced to pass. Devin Funchess, the only guy left there. He's in a good spot. There's a lot, Juju Smith, but for me, I'm going to be paying up. I really, really like Julio and AJ Green as the top 2 guys on this slate.
Yeah, I like that, and I think that you can. It's good because you could fit those 2 guys in with Shepard, and then you got 2 guys with a. It's. I think it's just the way to go. Cam, tell me about your receivers this week. Who you going to be liking?
Yeah, I'm with Paulie on AB. I don't think I'll play him at all. I think for me, the Steelers goes Bell number 1, Juju number 2, and then if I had to play a third, it would be AB. So I won't play him. I like Julio, but that ankle, I'll have to see what's going on with that. I don't know, I don't know if I want to play him if he's injured, but I'll have to read into it later on in the week. AJ Green is probably my favorite receiver up at the higher tiers. And then he's just in a really good spot, and Tennessee they don't have a good secondary at all. And they've gotten torched in a couple spot games this year against good wide receivers. So I think this is one of those weeks we could see AJ just absolutely go off. For sure. DeAndre Hopkins, kind of the same as Tennessee. I know the Rams, on paper, they have a pretty good secondary, but I think Hopkins could beat them, and he's just getting peppered with targets. I think he has 35% target share with Hopkins or with Savage at quarterback this year, in a 2-game sample size, but he got 16 targets last week, and I think he'll keep going there, so I don't mind that. His price dropped down from 9.2 to 7.6, so it's even better. Golden Tate's always in play. If we like Stafford, we have to think about Tate. And then DT at 6.8, kind of to go along with Savage Hopkins. DT is Brock Osweiler's favorite wide receiver. I have the numbers on it on my phone, but just trust me, he is by far his favorite wide receiver between Sanders and him. So I like him a little bit. He's dealing with a hamstring, though, so that's a little bit concerning. And then in the mid-tier is probably where I'll be this week. Unfortunately, I do like those high guys, but I just like the expensive backs. Juju at 6.5, in a really good spot at Indy. I like to do a thing where if I think AB is going to smash and everyone's going to be on AB, then I'll just go down to a guy who's way cheaper and an equal opportunity. Robbie Anderson, if we like McCown against Tampa Bay, I think Anderson could have a really good game. And then Marvin Jones against Cleveland. He's the 6th best fantasy receiver this year, and he's 6.4K on FanDuel. He's had over 100 yards. I think, last 2 games and 3 touchdowns in his last 3. And has gone for 3x twice in those 3 games. So I like him a lot. And then Sterling Shepard at 5.7 going against San Francisco's secondary.
Yeah,
Right,
quick comment on Robbie Anderson. He's 5th in the NFL in team market share of air yards. Like at his price, he's probably one of the better plays on the slate, point per dollar.
Jason, I like that. I have Robbie Anderson in a lineup, so I like that.
Yeah, man. Like I like a lot of that. A lot of what you guys are saying. Actually, the first guy I had on my list was Marvin Jones. I don't understand why nobody's on this guy, man. I was on him. I was all over him last week. I played him in a lot of lineups. He's a number 1 receiver, man. It might not last, but last 4 games, targets 11, 11, 14, and 8. And in the red zone, he's the guy. I mean, he's not looking at Tate. He's looking at Marvin Jones. The only hesitation I have there is with McCourty being back. Is McCourty going to be on Jones the whole game? That I don't know. That I'd like to find out. I don't know if he's going to be looking at Tate or Jones or how they're going to do that. So that's something I want to find out. I'm with you guys with Juju. I don't love the fact that he's $1,000 more than he was last game, but he's still a great option, and he's still in the mid-tier. Another guy I'm looking at that I've been playing him a lot in cash just because he's cheap and he seems to score a touchdown every week is Mohamed Sanu.
Yeah.
It's 59. He's like 5,900.
Yeah, I was gonna say if Julio's out, you have to play Sanu. Like he's definitely the second option on that offense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. Sure.
I mean, Dallas is actually worse against wide receiver 2.
Yes.
So it just makes a lot of sense. Everybody game plans for Julio. Obviously, that's what you have to do. But I mean, I'm thinking I like the Sterling Shepard call. Also, I'm thinking maybe in cash games I could get on FanDuel. I can get the 2 running backs that I want. Like a Sterling Shepard and a Sanu, and then I could get Julio or AJ Green. Even in cash games, I could do that. So, FanDuel, there's a lot of flexibility with the roster construction there, but it's kind of weird that we're all on pretty much the same guys here.
Well, we all work for the same company, and we kind of learn from each other. And we're all that good looking. So, and that's
really what it is.
That's what it is. It's such a good transition to the next position. And when I think about tight end, I think about one person, Paulie D. So, Paulie D, talk to me about tight ends this week.
I don't even know what to say to that. I definitely like Kyle Rudolph this weekend. Probably my favorite tight end. Paying up a receiver is not going to leave me a ton of money. The Redskins, I expect Norman to shadow Diggs, and the Redskins are pretty good against all receivers, and they're horrible against the tight end. So this should be a decent Kyle Rudolph spot. Gronk is obviously in play against Denver, but I'm not going to have any type of 8,100 left for a tight end. Cameron Brate's probably my next favorite. With Evans out, I think he'll become the number 2 target in that offense. Fitzpatrick doesn't have like the strongest of arms, so he can lean on Brate a lot in this game. And then Evan Ingram, Giants really only have 2 options. He's going to get the targets, and it's a terrible defense. So my lineups will only have those 3 guys: Rudolph, Brate, and Ingram.
Problem is for me with Ingram is I don't know, man. He's just a little too much, too expensive. I don't know what his ceiling is, if it's that much. I just don't know how many points in general they're going to score to where his ceiling for 73. You know?
7,400. I just saw that on.
I'd rather just go Shepard.
I just saw that on FanDuel. I didn't realize he was that expensive. He's 6,200 on DraftKings, but the most. When's the New England game's the night game on Sunday, so Gronk's not on the slate. So Evan Ingram's the most expensive tight end on DraftKings too, 6,200 though, a little bit more manageable.
Yeah, I like that. Cam, talk to me about your tight end.
So I think Rob Gronkowski is interesting. Like he's absolutely just mashed against Denver. And Denver, we've touched on it all the time. Like we attack Denver with tight ends up the middle of the field. But yeah, I don't want to pay up 8.1K at tight end. I did a little bit of digging this morning and just went back into like my FanDuel history and looked at a bunch of winning GPP lineups from week 1 through 9, and a lot of them, like almost all of them, like maybe one of them has spent up at tight end this year. So they're spending about 9 to 10% of their salary on tight end, which is like in that 5 to 6K range, tight end on FanDuel. So I won't be going up there, but he's in a good spot. I like Cameron Brate now that Evans is out. I think he'll get a lot of targets, and besides last week, like he's super consistent, which sucks because last week I played him a little bit, but always very consistent. And then I think you got to just look at like guys who are playing against Cleveland and guys who are playing against the Giants. Like the Giants have given up a touchdown to every single tight end that they've played. So like pretty much I think Garrett Selleck has to score this week at 4.5K and he gets a touchdown. No, I don't know. It's worth the flyer, but it's just funny that they've given up a touchdown to a tight end every single week.
Problem is that Higbee only caught one catch last week though.
Yeah.
So that doesn't help you. You're not going to win a tournament that way.
You could if a 4.5 guy gets
one
6
catch.
points. Yeah, 6.5 points.
Yeah.
Min price, you can make it up elsewhere.
Jason, just tell me about your end.
Yeah. So if you got a big set of balls to go with your tight end, I was going to say Garrett Selleck, man. I mean, I'd play him in catch.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't see much that I like at tight end this week. I'm not really excited about anybody. So you could go there because, I mean, 9 in a row is a trend. That's got to be something. I don't know.
I just want to like say too that like research that I did. Another thing, the tight end is I did percentage of salary per position and average value per position, and tight end's like significantly the lowest on each GPP winning lineup at 1.9 value. So you're getting 1.9x on these GPP winning lineups. So if Selleck scores a touchdown at 4.5K, I don't know what it'll be at, but it'll be close to that. So just wanted to touch on that, but sorry to cut you off.
No, you're good.
No. You're doing just fine.
So another guy I do kind of like on this one. I'm just a little worried that he's not getting the targets that he used to get. Delaney Walker's in a pretty good spot against Cincinnati. I do like him. Another guy, I'm just kind of going through because nobody's going to have the money to spend here, and I don't know that any of us are in love with these guys, but Austin Hooper for Atlanta. I mean, Dallas can't cover tight ends at all. He's seen 6 targets each of the last 2 games. So I think maybe they're trying to work him in a little bit. But I'm not against just taking a total punt and trying to catch some fire with Selleck. If you pay down there, you can go up on FanDuel and you can get one of the top defenses. So if you look at it that way, what's more important to you this week is the tight end or the defense. And I think
that there's some good defenses though that are not cheap. That are cheap, especially on FanDuel, that I like. Tight end for me, obviously I like Rudolph. The Redskins can be beaten. I think that's how they're going to have to move the ball against this Redskins defense. They're not going to be able to pass. We can't forget Jack Doyle. He's been just tearing it up the last few weeks.
Huge market share, and they're going to be losing.
And another guy that is coming back this week, just check just check it, is Charles Clay. He's coming back, and he's been practicing. He does good at home. So I definitely like that. Charles Clay is a decent play. But yeah, there's not much at tight end this week that I think you should just like kind of pick a couple guys and just go with it and just fit them in. You can go with Garrett Selleck. I just don't know what his upside, like how much his upside is. It's not like last week with Trey Burton. That was a last second thing that it skyrocketed him. It was so easy just to fit in everything else. And that's what I did. So, anyways,
I have a question for you guys.
Yes.
How do you think OJ Howard's going to be used this week? Now that Mike Evans is out, do you think they'll run him out a little bit more and use like a couple double tight end sets and things like that?
Yeah, I was going to mention him. I checked his price. Like he's a little higher than I hoped. He's 5,100.
Yeah, exactly.
But like if you're thinking about Selleck at 45, I think I'd be able to find the 600 to get to Howard, who he's been involved. It's kind of been like boom bust. Like if you had him, you did great at low ownership, but you just don't know when it's going to come. But this is like the opportunity where he has. This is the best chance we've had all season for him to get like a ceiling game for targets and catches. So
he's like a Mike Evans prototype too. Like he's 6'6", 245. Like
he's like Evan.
I could see them using him in a similar way. Like obviously he's not the player Mike Evans is, but they could just plug him in and use him as that kind of big wide receiver role in this offense.
No, I think that's a really good call. Let me see what he is on DraftKings. Because sometimes, like last week, he was like free. You know what I mean? Let's see. He's 2,500 on DraftKings.
Who's this? OJ Howard?
Yeah, OJ Howard. In comparison, Cameron Brate's 41, and like in that same game, Safarian Jenkins is 48. So you get almost $2,000 discount from those two guys to get OJ Howard. Like 2,500. That's 3 catches for 40 yards, and you're at 3x. So definitely a play on DraftKings. FanDuel, it's a little harder. Like as we were just talking about that, Joe, like you said, Evan Ingram, I don't know what his upside is, but like 8 catches for 80 yards and a touchdown is definitely in the realm of possibilities, and that could be far higher than what any of these other guys do. You know what I mean? So maybe it is worth trying to find some extra money at tight end. Like this is almost. I started doing a little research yesterday. And like haven't dug into tight ends, but man, is it ugly. And like it might be hard to do to get the money. You may have to come off a running back that you want to pay up for, but it'll differentiate you and it may set you apart. Like the difference between like Lev Bell and LaShawn McCoy might be 4 points, but the difference between Ingram and say who's like 6K, Safarian Jenkins could be like 15. You know what I mean? So you have to like weigh out the opportunity cost of paying up for that guy versus what the rest of the field will get.
Yeah, I agree. I that's a good point. Tight end, another guy I think we need to talk about or just bring up right now, and I think we'll talk more about it on the Y stream at 2 p.m. Eastern time on Saturday. You should have joined me, Paulie D, maybe CK from the Crossroads, and of course we got Josh, Cash and DFS, and maybe we'll have another guest in there. But Hunter Henry, as a Charger fan, I think that I don't think they're going to be able to move the ball on the outside and running the ball. They might be able to run the ball a little bit with Gordon, but they're going to have to throw with Hunter Henry over the middle. I think that's an option. That's a good segue into defense. Real quick, guys, let's go into some defenses that we like this week. To me, I think that there's a couple up top that I just got word. Breaking news. Sorry. Joining us this Saturday on the Y stream, special guest Johnny the Greek, who took 9th in the Millie Maker last week. So Johnny the Greek joining us on the Y stream on Saturday. Be sure to join us. Anyways, back to defense. I think there's a couple defenses up top. Rams, Lions, and Jaguars are the top 3 that I like. But then at the bottom, obviously the one that sticks out to me that I'm going to have a lot of is the Bears. I just love them this week. short week, a Hundley going into Chicago, and I love that matchup. I also like the Redskins 4,200 against the Vikings, and yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, those are it right there. I know I was real excited, but yeah, that's it. All right, Paulie, tell me who you like. What defense you like?
The Steelers are probably my favorite, and they're pretty cheap in comparison to some of these other ones. Coming off a bye, Brissett has been a turnover machine. They should get sacks here, picks. I love Pittsburgh in this game. Carolina versus Miami, Jay Cutler, he will happen.
Mm-hmm.
The Redskins I really like as a cheap defense. They've been underrated all year. And, Minnesota is not as good as they were earlier in the season, so I don't mind them. And then Jacksonville Jaguars, you gotta consider playing every week. Phillip Rivers could gift wrap a nice pick six for them. And now we saw a kid take a punt to the house last week. I mean, they're just the best defense in football, so you got to consider them every week as well.
Mm-hmm. Cam.
Jags D. That's it.
What about, would you like the Bears D against your Packers?
Oh no, the Packers are gonna go into Chicago and just kick the shit out of them.
You see, this is where you got to get better on, young Padawan. You need to learn to think with your head and not with your heart.
No, they're definitely in a good spot. Like, especially at home. I could see a touchdown out of the Bears defense, but I'm not gonna play them against my Packers because I don't want to cheer against them.
But I like the Jags D too. I think as a Charger fan, I mean, they're just gonna blitz and blitz him, and Rivers he is slower. He's slow. Anyways, Jason, what kind of defenses you like?
Yeah, I mean, I like the guys you mentioned. A couple others that haven't been mentioned. You guys probably won't like this because of all that Fitzpatrick shit you've been talking. I love the Jets because it's a reverse narrative, and these guys hate that motherfucker, man. You got to understand, Todd Bowles almost lost his job because of Ryan Fitzpatrick, right?
Yeah.
Remember that?
He blew the game against Buffalo, like when they needed to win and get in, and Buffalo had nothing to play for. He blew that game.
Yeah, he blew it, man. He blew their whole season, and then he was shit last year. They hate this guy. Todd Bowles almost loses his job. I guarantee you this game means a hell of a lot to that guy. And they were supposed to win, one game this year? And they're 4-5, and they've been competitive as hell. Like, they don't have a lot of talent, but they play hard for that guy. So I like the Jets a lot in this matchup. I think they're going to blow them out. Fitzpatrick will not throw any touchdown passes. So I like them at 4,600. I also like the Saints at 4,400 on FanDuel. I don't know if I'd go there, but they'll probably give up 20 points, but they've been very opportunistic. I think they lead the league in defensive and special teams touchdowns. So they block kicks, they take a pick to the house. At 4,400, I don't mind them. I'd probably play the Bears though, for sure. Over that,
I'd play the Bears first too against the rookie quarterback.
But if I'm looking for a tournament defense, I don't mind the Saints there at all. Other than that, that's probably about it.
Do you guys see the Browns D's free on FanDuel?
Yeah, I was just looking at that.
There's 3.5K.
3.5?
Yeah.
Wow. Nope.
That's crazy.
No, still wouldn't play
3.5 for negative points.
3.5
still,
too much.
Still too.
They actually haven't scored less than 4 all year.
Yeah.
4 to.
Oh boy.
What's their high?
There's a narrative.
9.
9.
If they gave you 9, you take that.
Yeah.
Give you 9. Yeah, sure.
Who was that 9 against?
The 9. Houston.
Oh, interesting. It's probably week 1 against
No, with the Sean.
Yeah, no. I remember they had a pick to the house right before the halftime. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, defensive touchdown. Yeah. That's probably their only turnover forced all year.
All right, so guys, that's pretty much going to wrap it up. Real quick, I'm going to ask Cam and Jason this because they will not be on the Wise stream. Cam, give me your 3 must plays.
Oh my God, you're putting me on the spot.
Yes,
that's on the spot, man. 3.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Really easy.
I'm sorry. I can do 3 really.
Dude, Cam's freaking out right now, dude. Come on.
Fournette for sure.
Okay.
Fournette, I'll go Fournette, Marvin Jones, and Garrett Selleck. No, I'm just kidding.
I love it.
I'd go probably Stafford. I don't know.
Yeah, Marvin Jones is criminally underpriced. Jason.
Let's go Bell, Stafford, Fournette.
Yeah, I like that. I'm going to try and start some lineups with that. All right, guys, that seems like it's going to do it about the Week 10 preview for FanDuel and DraftKings here at WiseTake. We really appreciate you guys stopping by, checking us out. Make sure you hit the like button, hit all that on the iTunes and Podbean. It kicks us up those charts. And make sure you also join us at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 11 p.m. Pacific Time, or 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on Saturday. Just talk the Wise stream. It will be me. It will be Josh. It will be Paulie D, and will also be a special guest, Johnny the Greek. It's Johnny the Greek. Yeah, Johnny the Greek. And Cam will probably be drunk because Wisconsin.
I'm gonna be at the game.
We'll be at the game. Who are they playing?
Number 25 Iowa's coming into Camp Randall, baby. Let's go.
Had to say number 25. Isn't that the first top 25 team they played all year?
It doesn't matter. Right. We got the best back in the country.
That's true. No, the best back in the country plays for Southern Cal. Anyways, that will be.
I know.
Plays for Penn State. Saquon Barkley.
You guys all freak out. Obviously, Saquon's better. I know.
Hey, Saturday night, check out the Notre Dame Miami game. The U. They might be back on the map.
I hope they win, dude.
Notre Dame's gonna crush them.
I swear to God, this is the first time this is the first time I can remember that I'm actually cheering for Miami. I want them to win so bad. There are 2 teams I hate winning. One of them is Ohio State. The other one is Notre Dame.
I want to see Brian Kelly.
Paulie, we need to get you that turnover chain, bro, and you just wear that on the show.
The turnover chain.
Turnover chain.
Him wearing that thing right now. Just look at Paulie's face. Think of him wearing that turnover chain. No. Boom. That's on.
He doesn't even know what we're talking about. When they get a turnover, they have like this massive gold chain that has the U logo on it. And they wear it.
Miami. Oh, okay. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, go Miami. Yeah. I mean, I was more of a Florida State fan back in the day, so that's why I always cheer for Florida State. But I don't want Notre Dame in the playoff because I just don't want them in the playoffs. I hate their fans. And I'm Catholic too, and I hate their fans. All right. So, but yeah, it should be interesting. This Saturday is going to be a good game. Did any of you happen to check out before we leave? Did anybody happen to check out the quarterback from Arizona, Khalil Tate?
Yeah.
Remember, Paulie? I told you to check him out.
Yeah.
His first half, he did nothing last week, but I was at the game, and all of a sudden, it's like he took over and was just every play was like 20 yards, 30 yards, touchdown. It was like they ran out of time or they would have beat SC.
He's like Pat White.
He's so good, that guy. He's big. I ref some of his games in high school. So, anyways, yes, the CIF playoffs start this Friday, and I will be reffing a playoff game on Friday night in cold Lompoc, California. If any of you guys know where Lompoc is, I would be shocked. Anyways, guys, that's going to do it for us for the WiseTake Week 10 preview show. Make sure you join wisetake.com, do the monthly package. You get 7 days free trial. You get to see all of us smiling faces and great content on top of that too. So for Paulie D, for my man Cam, and for, of course, the real Slim Gaede, I am Patio Joe, and we are out.
Peace.
Yeah.